Hi, my name is Alessandro. I'm with ReadyRig. Today we're going to quickly go over how to assemble and put together the new ReadyRig GS system, as well as how to get into it and operate it and configure it onto your body type. So without further ado, we're just going to go get right into it. So when you get the rig, you're going to have three major components that you have when you open up the bag. You got the carbon fiber rods, you got the shoulder supports, and then you got the main vest. So to get this thing put together is pretty simple. You have these three-arm knobs right here that you're going to just open up and loosen. And you're going to take the shoulder support, and you want to make sure that the shoulder is going to be facing out. You don't want these to be in on your neck. It's just going to slide right into the slot. And it should fit nicely in there. You're going to nicely tighten down the three-arm knob. Do the same to the other side. The next phase, what we want to do is we actually want to go back to the carbon fiber support rod, and we want to undo the screw on the back. And when we do that, it's going to allow us to slide it in to this clamp on the shoulder. Now loosen up the clamp just a little bit so that the rod can go into it like so. I like to give it a nice little tighten down so it doesn't slide while I'm doing the next phase of this, which is simply threading the screw through the eyelet on the bungee and locking that down like so. Now you want to give this a nice firm pinch and grip it and just pinch it in there, and that looks good. We're going to do the same thing to the other side, so it's quite simple. We're going to first loosen up the clamp, slide the rod in, and repeat the process. Now that's pretty much it for the setup as far as assembling the rig on. Here we go. Let's get that in there. So what we're going to show you now, I just finished assembling that, and we're going to go and take off the gimbal attachments right here, and we're going to attach it to the frame of the gimbal. Today I'm using the Ronin, the regular Ronin, and I'm going to put down the rig, and I'm going to go over, grab my gimbal, and what I want to do is loosen up this Velcro attachment. And what's key about this is making sure that we make a loop and that we sandwich the Velcro onto itself. So this is really, really important because this is what gives it all the strength, and you can't lose a camera, or the Velcro can't come undone from brushing into it or anything like that. So I'll show you how that's done. We simply just loosen it up, go around the bar, feed it through, tighten it, and put the last layer of Velcro on it, and it's going to sandwich it in, and that's going to be totally secure. We're going to go ahead and do that on the other side. And lock that in. Great. So now I have the rig assembled, and I have the gimbal attachments on the gimbal, and I'm going to put it on now, and I'm going to show you how you fit it to yourself. So we just put on the gimbal attachments, and we assembled the ReadyRig GS. Now I want to show you how to fit it to your body size, as well as how to get the vest on properly. So on the back, if we just pull this spring plunger here, we can move the shoulder supports up or down. The smaller torso you are, the lower down it goes. The taller, the higher it goes. On the back here, you have the spring tension slider. This thing moves up and down. What you want to do is you want to keep it relative to where your the shoulder supports is. So if there's 3 holes for 4 holes from the top, I want to be about 3, probably 3 from the bottom, 3 or 4 depending. This is an important note, is that this is actually not the key to locking in a specific tension. It just gets you in the ballpark, so it kind of sets up the tension in the springs depending on your body size. The rest of the fine-tuning and adding and subtracting all the weight to kind of balance your system actually happens on the shoulders, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. So without that, we're going to just get this on real quick. And what we want to do, what I like doing is I like actually securing the vest on first with my little straps here. I don't have to tighten these down too much. I just have to get them on nice and loosely. They just simply keep the vest on my body, it doesn't actually take any of the weight. What takes all the weight is this part of the rig. So what we've done is we've developed this little pulley system down here. You have to undo the Velcro on either side, click in, and come back and tighten the Velcro down again. And that's really going to give you a nice firm, very firm hold. And it's going to allow you to really take out all the weight, and it transfers all of that right into your hips. Now, you'll notice that we have these little plastic tri-glides. What you want to do with that is if you have any excess material on the belt sticking out, you can get it out of the way by simply moving it into tri-glide and getting it out of the way. This is pretty important if you're doing a lot of shots, going low to high. You don't want to have anything kind of get in the way and obstruct your shot. So here we go. Tighten it down like that. So that's pretty much just the fitting on the rig. Now I'm going to get into how to put the tension into the system, and as well as how to get into the gimbal. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the tension in the system. This is kind of one of the hardest things I would say a new person has to learn. It's not so difficult, but it does require some trying. What you want to do with this is you want to set the tension on the rod. Now what I mean by that is you got to load up. And the way we do that is we want to make sure that we loosen this handle right here, and we want to pull up and down at the same time. If I just pulled straight down, I'm going to have to fight all the leverage. You want to make sure you pull out too. So up and out and down. It's takes a little bit of practice, but when you get used to it, it's very easy. You can almost do it one-handed. Then what I do is I shift my hand, my opposite hand, so I can come back and kind of grab it and give it a nice little, give it like a decent turn here on the clamps, and the rod will stay. Do the same on the other side. Now we're pretty much loaded up, and kind of know already where I'm going with that. Boom, lock it in, and we're good to get into the gimbal. And I could kind of fine tune where the weight is and how much weight I want to add after I get into the gimbal. What I want to go into next is our quick release system, and what I think is a good technique for beginners to learn how to get in and out really fast and easy. The way I tell people to do it is you just want to use your palm of your hand, and that pushes down on the rod, and your fingers have to lift up on this little spring-loaded plunger over here. And your other hand is going to grab the attachment and guide it in just like that. Let go, and now it's secure. I'm going to do the same thing onto this side. So I use my palm, push down, lock in, and now we're off. Now what I was saying earlier is if I want to fine-tune the tension, this is pretty easy to do. You just want to pull down a little bit so that your rod is not lifting up. If you lift up and you loosen it, it's going to want to pull back. So what I usually do is I just have it down a little bit like this, and I will loosen it here, and I will kind of use my hand to grab it and slide the rod. Now if I just move it an inch, it's going to change the leverage drastically. I'll do the same on this side, and I can kind of tell if one rod is off and the other rod is lower in tension just because they're not balanced. Once I balance it out, they're going to be at the same level. It means that the same amount of tension is going on in the system. Now I have a lot of tension for this light camera package, and what I want to do is I kind of like to explain to people that the optimal tension in this system for, let's say, a tracking or running shot is kind of a lower tension. This is very high, and when you have so much tension, it tends to want to go and give you that footstep registration when you're doing your shot, much like a badly tuned Steadicam arm would be. So what I like to tell people the best option is, especially on light camera packages like this, is you want it to kind of just float, and you want the rig to take off probably like 95% of the weight. So this weighs maybe ½ pound in my hand. If I let go, it's still going to kind of want to fall down a little bit, but I'm still supporting, you know, the operation. And this gives me the freedom. I have very little weight on my hand. I still have full range of motion, but it will absorb a lot of the extra motion from my body. So that's a quick little look into that. Now the next thing I want to get into is, right now we're in low mode. I like to show people how cool the system is in high mode. What you can do in high mode is you can flip the camera up, and I'll show you how that is done. It's quite easy, especially on the Ronin system. The Ronin can be done by simply getting out of the quick release clips, spinning the camera so that it faces you. And I like to operate with the handles facing up, so when I flip it around, it's actually going to be a nice, in a nice position to grip and operate. You want to make sure that you really tighten these down. I'm going to come back in, click in, and bring the camera out, move the stand so you guys can see, flip up. All right, and I like to move the attachments so that I have enough space there. Now I have the camera, it's just barely weighing anything, and I have it in high mode. Now if I were to be operating on another camera with a monitor here, I love it because I can see where I'm going, and I have a monitor here which allows me to go up and down, and I still have a huge amount of range of motion that you normally don't have. So it's pretty awesome. High mode, or upright mode as some people call it. So thank you for checking out the Quick Start Guide. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to email us at sales@albacamera-support.com. There you could schedule a Skype training session with us, about 15 minutes. We can run up any other questions that you have and run through some different configurations. We're also going to be having some other videos come out with more in-depth operating techniques. So stay tuned and check us out on YouTube at Alba Camera Support. Thank you so much and have a great day.